Hello, Facebook. And we're live on the YouTubes as well. Welcome, everyone, to Teslanomics Live. I am your host, Ben Sullins. Today, what we're going to be talking about is the biggest Tesla news from the week past. We'll get into that in just a moment. Quick notes, if you're new here, this will be about 45 minutes. There'll be a long Q&A section at the end. If you want to participate in that Q&A, go join us on Crowdcast. There's a link in the description. In order to get the invite, you need to get on the email list at teslanomics.co. After this is done, I'll post a pinned comment on the video with all the timestamps so you can jump directly to whatever story that you're interested in. I mean, you don't necessarily need to watch the whole thing if you don't want to. I think you should. That's just me, but okay, I get it. Fine. Okay, so let me switch over and let's jump right into the latest and greatest from Tesla. So first and foremost, what we have here is the new Supercharger policy that Tesla released, I think this past weekend. They're calling it the Supercharger Fair Use Policy. And I'll just read one segment here, which I think is kind of the point, the main point of it. And this is that Tesla says, to help ensure that superchargers are available for their intended use, we ask that you not charge your vehicle using a supercharger if your vehicle is being used as a taxi, for ride sourcing or ride sharing like Uber, Lyft, or similar services, to commercially deliver or transport goods, for government purposes, or for any other commercial venture. If you charge your vehicle in a manner that does not comply with this Supercharger Fair Use Policy, we may ask that you modify this behavior. We may also take additional action to protect the availability of superchargers for their intended purpose, such as limiting or blocking your vehicle's ability to use supercharger stations. Now, here's a key point. The policy applies to all superchargers worldwide and all Tesla vehicles purchased, either new or used, whether from Tesla or a third party, after December 15th of 2017. Tesla may choose to exclude certain supercharger stations or occasional trips from the scope of this policy, such as to accommodate specific local circumstances. Okay, so let's talk about this. With this new policy, there are several companies that are going to be affected directly that are already in existence. For example, there's a company called Tesloop, which offers city-to-city ride sharing, essentially, where you have a driver. They call it, I think, their shuttlecraft or something like that. Really cool way to get around Southern California. Now, they typically charge at superchargers. It actually really helps and benefits their business. And so they're probably the most immediate one that comes to mind. There are other police, I know, in other parts of the world, police vehicles that are Teslas, which you would imagine would charge at a supercharger. So they'll be affected by this. But my take on it is that this is kind of hasty to have just put this in place as of right now. Remember, it's only on vehicles purchased after December 15th. So companies like Tesloop, which have, I think, 8 or 10 Model X's and S's, they'll still be able to use it and still be able to do it. So not affecting them in their current business, just going forward. So here's the deal. I believe that this was a little bit of a stopgap, and that what they are going to do in the future is put out a commercial version of this. Possibly, obviously, the MegaChargers are for commercial use, except for some of my friends who want to buy one for their own leisure. Okay, but the semi-trucks will obviously be for commercial use. So it may make sense at that time when they open up the MegaChargers to also unveil a commercial supercharging policy. Maybe they have to pay something. Maybe they just have to pay the local rates, just like Model 3 owners will. So in any event, I think this seems a little bit like a stopgap measure, like it was put in place rather quickly and unexpectedly. I don't know why. Maybe they saw something on their end that was upsetting, but it seems to be to deal with the superchargers getting clogged up, and it also could be related to Model 3 deliveries happening soon. So I'm kind of short on this because I don't like how quickly it just went into place. I think that they probably could have done a better rollout of this and maybe have done some pre-planning. I don't know. It just seems a little odd to me that it was just kind of, yes, as of today, boom, here it is. And so with that, I think that I hope that they will have a commercial option, because the economics of using an electric vehicle, a Tesla specifically, which has a high range electric vehicle, are just too good. The maintenance is so low. The repairs are so low. The efficiency of the vehicle. These cars are just tremendously valuable, and the economics are super good for commercial use, even though they don't have like a typical commercial van yet, or any of those kind of things. So I hope that they open up a commercial version of this. I understand why they're doing it. I wish that it was a bit smoother of a transition. It seems like a bit of a stopgap measure, and so for that reason, I'm short on it. Now, this takes me over to something that is kind of interesting, and that we actually had Haydn Sonnet, one of the founders of Tesloop, a company that is most directly affected by this immediately, or will be if they plan on buying additional cars. They gave a presentation at TeslaCon this past weekend that was incredibly insightful. For anyone that was there, how in depth and really their vision for the future and their plans are like 100 times beyond just the basic stuff that them as of today. So I think they are still poised for great success going forward. And this actually brings me over to the fact that TeslaCon sales are now available. So let me go just bring that up for you. So TeslaCon replays, so a view-only version of the conference, are now available for sale. So if you wanted to watch any of those things, and actually let me go to the register page so you can see what it looks like. If you wanted to go back and rewatch any of those and you bought a ticket, then you already have it. If you didn't get a chance to attend, then you can now purchase a replay ticket. I put a link on the page there on YouTube. You guys can see that, teslanomics.co/TC2017. And that'll take you essentially to the page that I'm showing you here. So with that, you do not get access to the pre-conference workshop. Unfortunately, we had a bug that those recordings didn't save. And so, but you do get the entire main conference. And so you can go rewatch those. And in doing so, you get to also participate. So let me show you a little bit of what the replays look like. And so here is essentially the replay of the keynote with me, I introduced everybody. I was your host. I was the moderator, and Robert Llewellyn from Fully Charged, who also, may know him from other shows like Red Dwarf and all those kind of things. So you can go back and you can see the discussion. The discussion is actually still open, so you can have more of a discussion there. You can see everything that people were talking about during it. And you can you can jump directly to the answers of questions. So for example, Brian asked during TeslaCon, what is TeslaCon doing wrong? What is Tesla doing wrong? What should they concentrate on more? If I wanted to just go see that answer, I can click View Answer, and you'll see what happens behind it. It jumped exactly to that point in the video where he starts to answer that question. So TeslaCon sales, TeslaCon view-only replays are on sale now for $49. I hope you guys that didn't get a chance to watch it live and participate, as a lot of folks did, I hope you guys are able to take advantage of this as well, and I hope you enjoy it. So let me know what you guys think about that. Again, go to teslanomics.co/TC2017 to be directed there where you can purchase and get immediate access. All right, so talked about the Superchargers and what that affects, and specifically the reason that parlays so well is because, as I mentioned, there's a talk here. Where is it at? By Haydn, one of the founders of Tesloop, and that was the most voted on question here. With Tesla updating their supercharger policy regarding commercial use, how will this impact you and others? So you can go see exactly from one of the founders of Tesloop what their answer is. So yeah, I think this is super cool. I mean, it was just kind of coincidental that, we'd already planned on having them on, but this is part of the power of this platform. So go check that out. Next, I want to talk a little bit about the EV tax credit, and the EV tax credit has survived. Yay! So the Republican tax bill, as we know it, as it is in its current form, which is going back. So the House and the Senate have reconciled. They're going to go back and vote. They hope to pass this. I think they wanted it on the president's desk by December 25th, so a week from today, which means they need to get things in order to call a vote, and there's a whole weird process to take. It's intentionally slow. So with that, if it passes in its current form after the reconciliation process, the EV tax credit, the $7,500, will remain. So that's tremendous. That means that you will be able to get, your full benefit if you buy a Tesla. Now, the next question is, what about the 200,000 mark? Now, last time we checked in on this at the end of Q3, I got the data from Inside EV's monthly scorecard. They I think had about 143,000 Teslas sold in the U.S. or delivered in the U.S. Now, with this quarter wrapping up, they're not going to break that. There's no way they're going to hit 200,000 this quarter, even if they deliver a bunch of Model 3s right now. But they're getting close. And so the question then becomes, where are they on the Model 3 ramp? And I want to talk a little bit about that because, by the way, go to teslanomics.co/TD if you want the referral code so you can get free unlimited supercharging on top of your $7,500 EV tax credit now. So yeah, go get that and you'll be stoked. So that's only for S and X, by the way. Now, there are some reports about the Model 3 and the ramp up happening. Well, the thing about it is that let me just read you a couple of the bits here. Part suppliers of Tesla or for the Model 3, they have reported that they're seeing an increase of the parts that are supplied up to the level that would support 5,000 per week. And one of the things that they're doing here is they're going to be shipping these parts via air, or some of them via air versus boat, because it's obviously a lot faster, also more expensive, so that may mess with the margins a little bit. But there are hundreds of Model 3s spotted at various delivery centers. The Fremont one, there's one in LA. Those are the two that we've seen photos of. And so hundreds of the Model 3s should be delivered to general public very soon. Thank you for asking. No, I've not got my invite yet. Soon, and I'll obviously be walking through that. So the question, though, is whether or not the ramp is really happening. Even with hundreds being delivered, that's awesome. I'm super stoked for all those folks. But should be looking at thousands. Remember, their goal originally was 5,000 by the end of this year, which would mean, like next week or so. And so we're not there. We're not even close to being there. The question is whether or not we'll get there by the end of March, which is what Elon updated us, the guidance on the last earnings call. And so that is still a big question. I'm really not sure if we're going to make it there, but I hope so. Now, where they go on that ramp, or how far they get in in January, is going to have a big factor, is going to play a big part in whether or not they hit 200,000 cars in Q1 of next year. I'm short on it. I don't think it's going to happen. I think it'll be Q2, and I'm hoping that it'll be very early in Q2 of 2018 when they hit the 200,000 mark, because then with the ramp hopefully really, really high, or close to 5,000 cars per week, what we'll see is a massive amount of people that can take advantage of the EV tax credit. So see, all these things tie together, right? Free supercharging with the referral program, the EV tax credit, the ramp, it all fits together. This is a really great week. Not always, are things kind of so conjoined here. So stay tuned for more as the Inside EV guys update their scorecard. I'll take that, update my projections, and put out a video about that in the coming weeks, probably early next year, to be honest, just because it's kind of early. Like, it'd be nice to have the end of Q4 numbers before we make any more predictions, just because otherwise it's just too speculative. Now, I think Q2 of next year is when we'll see it. Hopefully, early Q2, they'll hit that 200,000 mark. And that means, again, tons of people will be able to take advantage of it. And then from that, every car that gets delivered in that quarter, 100% qualifies. And the next quarter, also 100% qualifies. Then is when it starts to phase out. So the next 2 quarters, you get 50%. Still not a bad deal. Next 2 quarters after that, you get 25%. Hey, it's still better than nothing. And then after that, it's gone. So you're looking, 2019, mid 2019, before the credit will really be gone for anybody taking delivery of a Tesla. So yeah, I'm excited about this. I obviously would rather have my Model 3 already, but I think this may work out really well, especially since the EV tax credit survived the reconciliation process there. Okay, now some fun. Some friends of mine, Zach and Jesse, who also spoke at TeslaCon, you can go watch their session, they have this amazing series called The 12 Days of Model 3. Yes, that's them singing. Yes, they have a business where they deal with music production and this kind of thing. They posted a video here that's pretty cool with a guy that is 6'7", getting into a Model 3. So I've got this question a lot, and I think it's really cool that they were able to do this. So they have this kind of cherry red Model 3, and you can see here, I mean, I'm about the same height as Jesse, a little bit taller than Zach, but their friend here is going to come on, and you can kind of see the magical difference of this. So what they do, yeah, look, it just looks like a giant compared to them. What they do in this video is he tested out. He's 6'7". This series is awesome. Go check it out. I'll put a link in the description. Short answer, he fits pretty good. He says he likes it better than his Model S. So for folks that have been asking me for a long time, and this is the impetus behind them doing this, it looks great. Go watch the video if you are a tall guy that is asking for that. Alrighty. The last story comes to us from the Buffalo News. And if you're unfamiliar at all, Buffalo is where the solar aspect of Tesla is being built. There was a plant there, I believe, and somebody correct me, Solar City bought it from a different company. They were doing their thing, and then Tesla bought Solar City. They merged, now it's a Tesla thing. You can see the Tesla flag here flying. I assume this is the plant. This is from the Buffalo News. And so, man, this is kind of crazy. So we're seeing the first downturn in residential solar installations in 16 years. So there you have it right there. Look at that. So they had close to 2,600 in 2016, and 2,200 are predicted for this year. Now, this is in megawatts. Now, this is kind of crazy. I mean, the idea is that this plant, they've had to do some changes to it. I think they laid off a ton of people, and now hiring new people is kind of slow. So this is kind of crazy to me. That we're actually seeing this, because every other prediction I've seen of solar is like through the roof. But this seems to be pretty well done. I think it's a very well done piece. I highly recommend reading this. I don't know if these guys are typically long or short on Tesla and stuff like this, but I would just say from a quality of the news, of the content here, I think it was pretty good. The last thing is that here's kind of the slump in production. And you can kind of see going back to 2013, how many megawatts, and it kind of bubbles up, and it goes up, at a high in Q4 of 2015. And then from there, we're kind of on this downward trend. So kind of interesting. Reading the article, everyone there tends to think that this is going to change. But right now, we're definitely on the downward trend. So that's kind of a bummer. But so this is maybe my short for the week, is that for whatever reason, we're not seeing any pickup in solar, which I think is a bummer, because I think solar is a major win. I got mine a little while ago. By the way, I've got a lot of questions about how you should go about getting solar lately. I did a video on this a while ago, so I'll put a link to that in the description as well. In short, I used a website called Energy Sage. Really great how they kind of line things up and make it easy to compare different providers. So I'll put a link to that video if you want to see kind of the process I went through in deciding to get solar. I did not get Tesla Solar, for those of you that were wondering. However, you can use my referral code and get an extended warranty on Tesla Solar if that's a good option. So several people have emailed me those questions, and I've worked through them with you. I do recommend using Energy Sage. You won't get a Tesla quote on there, but get your quote through Energy Sage, then go to Tesla, get their quote, compare them, because just the Energy Sage thing alone, how they lay out the dashboard, will really help you understand what to look for and what questions to ask. So there you go. So I'll put links to that so you can kind of become more informed and better on that. So pretty quick run through the news. And next, what we're going to do is we're actually going to go over to the Q&A section. So I'm going to jump over to the folks that are with me on Crowdcast. I'm going to kill the video there. And we're going to go full screen on the questions. Wow, I got 14 questions. So thank you so much, guys, for asking those. Let me see. What can I do with this? Whoops. I want to go full screen here. Alrighty. And I'm going to kill the chat just so it's not, there we go. Okay, so first question. Oh, guys, make sure, so if you're on Crowdcast, make sure that you're voting on everything. And I'll give you just a quick second there to do that. Okay, it looks like it's still good on the YouTube. All right, first question comes to us from Mel Bernstein. Hi, Mel. What is the latest on production hell? Well, kind of gave you my thoughts there. You know, it seems like they're still in it, honestly. I've talked to a few folks I know that maybe have more inside knowledge than I do. It sounds like things aren't swimmingly coming along, that we're not there totally yet, but we're hopefully seeing kind of the end in the next quarter or so, I would say. Apparently something to do with the robots. I'm not quite sure. But you know, I would hope that Elon's prediction of 5,000 per week by the end of March is still somewhat on track. I mean, even if we're getting 2,000 a week by then, we're talking about 8,000 to 10,000 Model 3s per month. Okay, like we're getting there, right? So hopefully, you know, by the end of Q1, and absolutely as soon as I get my invite, I will let you guys know. Thanks for the question, Mel. Next, we have a question from Jim. Any news on whether EV incentives is included in the tax bill? Yep, it lived. Yes, it's there. I'll link in the description of the video on YouTube. Yep, thanks for the question, Jim. Mel asks, regarding commercial users not being allowed to use superchargers, how does the supercharger know that the vehicle attempting to connect falls into that category? Yeah, that's a good question. So I don't know if they officially know that. They may be able to tell by who the vehicle is registered to. So for example, if you have like 7 or 8 Teslas registered to your one account, might be an indication. I don't really see the reasonable like why a normal person would have that. Also, you could probably find out who it's registered to in the DMV if it's registered to a business. So there are kind of explicit ways. A more data science type way that I would, if I were working with them, is I would look at how often and where these guys are charging, because there would be some very strong patterns there, I'm guessing, right? They would always be charging almost at the exact same location and very frequently, as, you know, for example, the guys at Tesloop do. So, yeah, I think it wouldn't be too hard, kind of explicitly, and then also from a more investigative data science approach. Thanks for the question, Mel. Pete asks, I'm seeing there's going to be a roof rack option for the Model 3. Correct. Probably not ideal, but wondering if I could haul my canoe. Why not? Also curious about the summon features, that standard or enhanced autopilot feature. Is it practical outside of pulling your car out of the garage? The summon feature is just cool. I'll just say that. Yeah, there might be a practical thing if you have a really tight garage. Mostly it's just cool to show people that you can drive your car from your phone. Fair enough. That's my real world experience with it. Should be able to haul your canoe, no problem. Yes, there are roof racks. You can check out Trevor and Ken's video review of the Model 3. They were able to find those on top. I don't think we've seen any official roof racks designs or anything, but there are mounting locations, it appears. So yeah, good luck with that, Pete. Thanks for the question. Vic asks, how many months do you realistically think it will be between your rear-wheel drive and all-wheel drive Model 3 being available? So if you're talking about me specifically, so if you guys aren't familiar, you haven't been following along, what I plan on doing is getting my Model 3, the first production one, soon, hopefully before the end of January, maybe on my birthday, which is January 27th, by the way. So that way I can do videos with it. I can get a real world experience. I can kind of show you guys. Also, we can get rid of my wife's ICE vehicle or Dino Car, as somebody had mentioned on Twitter. I love that name. That's a beautiful name. I was thinking we could call fossil fuel-based vehicles Legacy. Legacy is kind of a nicer way to put that. I thought Dino Car was a very clever one, so that was the winner in my head. Plan is get rid of her SUV, get me a Model 3, get some experience with that. Then I have a second reservation, which will not be up until towards the end of next year, unfortunately. But that'll give me about a year with the first one. Then I'll get the all-wheel drive performance model, and we'll kind of go from there. And that'll probably be the one that I end up keeping. So yeah, maybe a year, unfortunately. But really, I think it really depends on how well they do with the production ramp and all that kind of thing. So yeah, stay tuned. Thanks for the question, Vic. Next question from Leo. With net neutrality repealed, how would that affect the wireless service on Tesla vehicles? Well, so here's an interesting thing about that. I don't think it would affect it at all. In fact, wireless communications, like your cell phone signal, do not fall under net neutrality laws, and they never have. And so the deal there is what you see. So now, I mean, it maybe seems more prevalent, but I'm totally gonna mess this up, but I think with T-Mobile, you get free Netflix streaming, unlimited data. If you buy the unlimited data plan, you get free Netflix, and then is it AT&T? You get Hulu or something like that, where they're doing what the opposite, or kind of the opposite, where they call zero rating, right? You can stream Pandora for free, unlimited. So Pandora is paying them to cover these fees, and then this is a thing. So wireless service has not been subject to net neutrality rules, so it won't affect Tesla vehicles at all, I don't believe. But the interesting development or thing about this is that consumers, from what I understand, don't tend to like these things, these zero rating things where they bundle these things. Like, what if I don't want Hulu? I want your limited plan, but I don't want Hulu having my stuff, So it's a weird thing. It'll be very interesting to see what happens. I probably fall somewhere in the middle on the whole net neutrality thing, because we didn't have net neutrality in the beginning of the internet. Net neutrality came around, and it wasn't it wasn't like that much different. And then, it's already been, I don't know, a few days. We haven't seen yet any major crazy, things happening with Comcast or anybody like that, changing things. I don't like the idea that these companies can do whatever they want, because I do believe the internet is a public utility. I do believe it is something that is it's almost like a right to have it, just like you have a right to have clean water and that kind of a thing. Or, at least these are the expectations we have as citizens that pay taxes on these things. I believe the internet is an essential ingredient to living in the United States, and probably in the world, but maybe, other places it's a bit more difficult. So anyways, I'm a firm believer that we need to keep it neutral, but I am also much more of a realist when it comes to what the impacts may be. I'm not super alarmist about it. As this happens, obviously me and many other people will pay close attention. So I'm bummed that they rolled it back, but I'm also, I guess, less fearful and more of a let's wait and see what happens. Also, you have stuff like Starlink from SpaceX looking to completely subvert or to go around all of the local ISPs, provide worldwide gigabit speed internet service. So yeah, there may be other options as well that really supersede any of these rules or things that so for example, we have Time Warner, or what's it called, Spectrum now. If you have Spectrum Internet or Comcast or whatever, and then you enter Starlink from SpaceX, and they're offering a compelling product, meaning it's a competitive whatever, and they don't have any of these weird, dumb restrictions or things, maybe, the negative side effects of net neutrality, I'll go with that, and consumers will speak. And so, as more competition enters the market, hopefully, we keep it really, really kind of fair. So yeah, sorry, long-winded answer on that. I have a lot of thoughts and feelings about it, but it shouldn't affect Tesla vehicles at all. Next question from Crafty Geek. Hey, Crafty, thanks for joining me this past weekend, by the way. It was very helpful having you there with all your questions and engagement. It was really great. So, yeah. Okay, and here's your question. What were your main lessons learned from TeslaCon? Both in terms of how to do better TeslaCon next year, how soon can we pre-order tickets, and in terms of cool Tesla info you didn't know prior to this weekend. So, lessons learned. Get more people to help organize it. I did this pretty much on my own. I had a guy helping with the Facebook marketing stuff, so that was a big help. but it would be nice to have a project manager just to keep me on track, right? Because when I'm doing TeslaCon, which, by the way, it's insane how much stuff it takes to actually put something like this on. I myself, I'm also trying to create videos, right, for Teslanomics, and do the live streams. And it was the holidays, so I had an unexpected kind of family emergency. I had to go on for 4 days. So I mean, geez, like just having someone that is in charge of it to say, hey, like, okay, here are the things we need to get done. Here's the date and time we need to get them done by. One of the big things would be to start promoting it earlier. So yeah, absolutely, pre-ordering for next year will be available maybe in June, maybe in March. I don't know. I'm actually going to probably hire a consulting company that has done these things before and just figure it out. This was a blast, though. This was the first time anybody's ever done it for the Tesla community. So, and I'm thrilled that as many people joined as they did. I knew it would be a tough sell for some, but I know those that did join and have emailed me since then really helped solidify the level of engagement that you get in this type of a setting, in this platform. So yeah. Other Tesla new, okay, the biggest thing I was actually surprised by in terms of Tesla info was Tesloop's plans for the future. These guys are thinking massive, and I love that. I really wish them the best. I think that, and if you're unfamiliar, like they have these plans to offer like ride sharing, almost like a churro where you can rent a Tesla for Model 3 owners. So one of the ideas they painted was, or one of the pictures they painted was, you go to the airport in your Model 3, you hand it over to them, they take it and then put it to use while you're traveling, and so you're making money on that. You fly to San Diego, let's say, you get off the airplane, you hop in a rental Model 3 through the same service, you drive it around, or maybe you just take a shuttle and then you're just on foot, or whatever your case may be. And so your car is actually making you money while you're traveling, and then you can also kind of use those as credits to have a similar experience wherever you're traveling to. So they have this whole crazy big plan there, and I am so happy, because if all I had really thought of Tesloop was the city-to-city travel thing that they originally do, I think they call it shuttlecraft, I definitely was a little bit worried about the success, because that seemed like such a small niche that you really couldn't build a sustainable company on. So their plans for the future, and again, this is where I think if you want to hear them talk about how the Supercharger thing will affect them, as well as other plans like this, you've got to go get that replay for TeslaCon, because they really go in depth on it, and I think it was really well done. Haydn, for as young as he is, man, he is a very sharp guy, and I really wish him and the whole team they're the best. So yeah, very, very good team, and that was really eye-opening to me. I loved his talk. So yeah, thanks for the question. Next we have Barry. Does the premium package include heated rear seats? I do not believe so. You can go to teslanomics.co/Model 3 specs, I believe. Hope that's right. Email me, let me know if it's not. And you can see all the specs that are included in the premium package. I copied them over from the Tesla site, which is kind of password protected and stuff. And so I don't know why they did that, but all the details of all the features, specs for the Model 3 are listed there. teslanomics.co/Model 3 specs. Thanks, Barry. Pomp asks, my car were bought with free supercharging forever, woohoo! But this new policy will limit any future buyer to use it commercially. So it will actually lower my resale value. Is it really not cool to change what I bought? Huh. So thanks for the question. I think I don't know if it'll change the resale value. I don't agree with that. I think that it may, but it's only for commercial use. And if anything, it would probably, if you were to sell it, so it's only commercial buyers. And as I suggested, I think that we'll have a commercial, version of the Supercharger network sometime soon. So I don't think it's a big deal, honestly. And hey, I mean, Tesla changes things all the time. Unfortunately, it's just something you got to deal with them. So yeah, there you go. Hope that helps. Mel asks again, just saw an event Saturday in real live Model 3. A generous owner whose son works for Tesla has just taken a delivery and bought it to our monthly meetup in Tesla Club of Orange County. Very cool. Very nice car overall, like a small Model S. All right. Yeah. I agree. I think they're beautiful. I haven't had a chance to drive one yet. Still waiting on that. Hopefully we'll get mine soon. And actually, there's somebody that lives on my street that has one. I'm gonna go like stalk them someday. Which actually, no, I should take it back. Don't do that because I know you guys. Yeah, some people. Yeah, don't do that. Sorry, I apologize. But if I happen to be outside and they happen to drive by, I may wave. We may meet. So I'll let you know. All right. Thanks for the comment, Mel. Carol asks, hi, Ben, do you already have news on the power consumption per mile for the Model 3? Best regards. Yes, I believe so. You know what? I want to say it's around 250 watt hours per mile, which is substantially lower than Model S and X. Don't quote me on that. I believe Electrek had an article on it, so you can just kind of Google that, and I'm pretty sure Electrek had it. Somebody had parsed it on the website, and that's kind of where they got it from. So really interesting stuff. But yeah, it seems to be lower and better than both the other ones. So that's great news because that adds a lot to the efficiency. Walt asks, just a comment. I know that Tesla does not advertise, but the other day I saw on Wisdom of the Crowd where a cameo where the car was stolen from someone, and the shout out to the thief was, now you need to find a charger. Ha! That's kind of funny. Yeah, the whole thing about stealing Teslas is interesting. I believe it had to do with the app. Which now, by the way, if you want to use the app to start your car, to enable keyless driving, as it were, you have to enter your password again. So, or I think it's a fingerprint or something like that. So hopefully that's helped with that a lot. Thanks for the question, Walt. Looks like you have another question here. What do you think the timing will be between the Model 3 as it is presented and when they will start delivery of the $35,000? Yeah, I think the $35,000 version will probably be summer of next year, maybe June or July. I know it's not the first option, and there's still a huge backlog to get through. So I think it'll be summertime of next year before that. And hopefully by then you'll be able to see it in stores. And get a sense of it. My brother, who has one and wants the $35,000 version, even though I'm urging him to get the bigger battery, he wants to go see it in person because it seems odd to him that he wouldn't be able to do so. But then again, if people start canceling because of that, they still have a line around the block to get it. So yeah, we'll see. Maybe summer of next year. Bob the Plumber, love your username here. Restricting commercial use seems very bad. I would expect that every car manufacturer will use this to bash Tesla. Yeah, I don't know. They bash Tesla no matter what. Like I said, I think they will have a commercial option soon, and that this was kind of reactionary. That's what I don't like about it. Not that they're not doing it, but that they didn't. They just said, "Hey, stop doing this." They didn't say, "Stop doing this," and here's an option to fix it. So I wouldn't expect that it'll last too long. Thanks for the question, Bob. Kevin asks, my Tesla account gives me March to May delivery from a Model 3 East Coast. Do you think that will happen? Yeah, I think so. If you take the first delivery, whatever, the premium package and all that, yeah, I think that's reasonable because hopefully by March they have. I would push towards May, I guess is my point. Hopefully by March, though, they're pumping out several thousand a week. And so, yeah, by that point, they should be able to churn through these pretty quick. The bottleneck then will be the delivery centers and how busy they are. So, yeah, there you have it. Tim asks, do you think the Roadster and Semi will come to market with mirrors? As the initial prototype. No, or without mirrors, yeah. Will regulations ever allow that? Yeah, I think that, they're obviously banking on it with their designs. And I think it'll happen. Because we're still talking like a few years out, it wouldn't be surprising to me if regulations change for that. The regulations are obviously, like there's other things too. For example, the Model 3 has a button for the emergency flasher lights, and it's because, if I understand correctly, that there's an actual law stating that you must have a physical button for the flashing the emergency lights on the car. Things like that, it would be hard to argue now with advances technology is in cars that you absolutely must have that. So there you have it. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that they'll be able to get that through, or at least I'm thinking they will. Crafty asks, I have a wood shake roof, which is apparently a fire hazard for standard rooftop solar. Didn't know that. Do you know of an alternate installation methodologies that are not wood roof fire hazards, or organizations where people can buy solar from others now in exchange for covering their solar costs in the future when the wood roof ages out, for example? I would work on, I mean, honestly, I would look at the solar roof. That's probably your best bet, because you're probably going to have to change that out, or, replace your roof and then get solar on top of it. Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not too well versed in that, but, the solar roof's pretty cool, and it should be here. I mean, honestly, I don't want to say it should be here soon, because the way the solar stuff is going, as I mentioned in today's broadcast, yeah, not really sure. But let me know what you find out, because I'd be interested. Thanks. John asked, do you think the commercial supercharger debate skips over the little detail that some fleet users have their own supercharger for their fleet? I'm not sure that they do. That's interesting. I'm not sure. So you're saying that Tesla actually installed a supercharger for them, or that they built one on their own? If they built one on their own, that'd be a first to me. I don't know. Now, there are DC fast chargers, but they're not nearly as fast as superchargers. So, yeah, I'm curious what you mean by that. Maybe share a link or something. Hit me up on Twitter. Django asks, do we know anything about the new MegaChargers? Other than the name being awesome? No. There's a lot of speculation. People have done some math on how big the cable would have to be, et cetera, et cetera. At this point, still all speculative, but kind of fun. And I love saying MegaCharger. Yeah, thanks. Thanks for the question. Ola asks, Elon Musk said the Tesla Master Plan 2 that the lower cost vehicle than the Model 3 is unlikely to be necessary. Then why are they developing the Model Y? Well, the Model Y should be on par with the Model 3, I would imagine, for cost, or maybe slightly more, but substantially cheaper than the Model X. So if you're unfamiliar, the Model Y is the crossover SUV, similar to the Model X, potentially, likely, a bit smaller, and a lot simpler design, and a lot cheaper. So I don't think it would be cheaper than the Model 3. I think it would be maybe on par, if not slightly higher, because it's a bigger car. Yeah. Jeremiah asks, I just purchased a CPO Model S, only 6 agonizing weeks. Congratulations, Jeremiah. Can you speak to what the refurb process actually consists of, or what determines exactly what gets refurbed, seats, rims, tires, paint, etc.? Can I expect it to come with new tires? Yep, you should get new tires. Anything I should know about the CPO process after purchasing the vehicle? Yeah, I bought a CPO vehicle. The process, they treat you like gold. They treat you like you bought it brand new, or at least that was my experience. Literally rolled out the red carpet. I came into the, now I know deliveries are changing, but this was my experience. Came in, car had a giant bow on it, totally detailed and just beautiful, like it was brand new. Signed the DMV paperwork, handed him a check for the remainder after the initial deposit, which I got from my bank and all that. So really straightforward. The actual paperwork process took about 5 minutes, and then we spent about 45 minutes going over every detail of the car, how to set up driver profiles, regenerative braking, all those kind of things, how to open the trunk, the frunk, dealing with all that kind of stuff. Yeah, so it's amazing. I know they'll replace tires. I don't think they'll replace rims unless there's damage. But the idea is that you should feel like the car is practically brand new. I doubt they would replace seats. Those are, the wear and tear on the seats, depending, unless they were really destroyed. Mine, you could tell that there was a little bit of wear on them, but whatever. I mean, it had 10,000 miles on it when I got it. It was practically brand new. Other than that, I'm sure they'll do software updates, paint touch-ups and things like that. I mean, I can't say specifically what they'll do on your car, obviously, but I know when I got my car, it felt like it was pretty much brand new. So there you have it. Thank you for the question, Jeremiah. Best of luck with your CPO Model S. Hit me up on Twitter with a pic. I'd love to see it once you take delivery. All right, guys. Well, I appreciate everyone joining me here on Teslanomics Live. Go ahead and get on our email list at teslanomics.co so you don't miss next week, and you can participate in the discussion that you just saw happen on Crowdcast. And remember that the TeslaCon replays are now on sale using the link up there. So I hope to see you guys in the chat on TeslaCon, as well as hear from you on Twitter. Stay tuned this week. I've got a few other things coming out. My editor is on vacation, so bear with me as I try to edit some videos. And I also have some kind of fun stuff. I know some of you guys were upset about me posting a Samsung Galaxy S8 video, but bear with me on that. I'm kind of having fun with some of these, so I have a couple more of those coming out. Still fully dedicated to the Tesla stuff, though, so just kind of sharing other experiences as I've got a lot of requests for that kind of thing. So stay tuned for more, and as always, don't forget that when you free the data, your mind will follow. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys back here next time. Cheers.